Well, we're pleased to be joined by Gonzaga senior guard Steele Venters. And Steele, let's just start off. Here you are a few games into the season. You guys have looked pretty good so far, a couple of big wins. Just overall, beginning of the season, how's things going for you guys?
Yeah, obviously it's going really good. We're happy. Obviously we still have some things to work on, but I mean overall I think the work we've put in the summer has shown so far, and I think the depth has shown too. Just 1 through 12. I mean, we can play with anybody. So yeah, we're really excited.
Now let's kind of go through your story for people who don't know. So obviously you grew up over on the west side, Ellensburg High School. Just kind of take me through growing up playing basketball over there. I know you were, all of Washington's second team your senior year there. Just kind of, your love of the game starting back then and kind of how that grew.
Yeah, I mean, my love of the game starts with my dad. He played at Central Washington there in Ellensburg, and ended up staying in Ellensburg, and then obviously having me. And just growing up in a small town, there wasn't really much to do. So I was always in the gym with my dad, working on my jump shot, all that stuff. And then, going through high school, I played for Eastern Washington Elite here in Spokane. So I was coming over here every Sunday to come practice. And just, fell in love with the area, and then obviously ended up going to Eastern. So, it's been a great experience staying in Washington native. It's been great.
I guess coming out of high school when you maybe didn't get those, recruitment opportunities and you didn't have a bunch of D1 schools looking at you and offering you, I guess kind of how tough was that? How much of a chip did that put on your shoulder? Because you did end up walking on at Eastern. I guess just, maybe not getting those early recruitment offers, just kind of how did that kind of build your character a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I was frustrated a little bit because I thought I was obviously better than what I was getting recruited as, and Eastern gave me an opportunity to come as a preferred walk-on, and so then I just had a chip on my shoulder, like you said, and just wanted to prove to everybody that I was good at this game, and I was able to contribute at a D1 level. So when I got to Eastern, I redshirted my first year, and just kind of learned about the game at the highest level, and I just wanted to improve my game. I was skinny coming into college, so wanted to put on a few pounds and just get used to the pace of the game. And being on scout team really boosts your confidence because they were having me basically be the best player, of who we were playing. And so I think that grew my confidence a lot. And then once we got a coaching change and I decided to stay with Coach Riley there at Eastern, he basically handed me the keys to the offense, and I was super ecstatic with that, and that's when my career kind of took off.
Would you say during that redshirt year and, even the year after when you only played whatever it was, 17 games in that COVID year, what was kind of the main focus for you to try and show that, hey, I'm not just a walk-on, I can be a key contributor for this team moving forward?
I mean, I think the biggest question with me has always been my strength in defense, and I think I kind of proved that, and obviously, like I said, gaining that weight in my freshman and sophomore year helped a lot. But I was still killing in practice those 2 years, so it was pretty hard not to play me. But I would say just getting stronger and getting used to the pace of the game.
And then obviously, you finally get your chance with Coach Riley. You have a great season, average over 16 points per game. Then heading in to your next season, obviously, then you become Big Sky MVP. You hit the game-winning shot to beat WSU in the NIT in Pullman. You remember we were down there for that one. Just seeing all that hard work you put in kind of come to fruition in those 2 seasons, how validating was that, and knowing, you can compete at this level and be among the best?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it felt great coming from a small town. I think there was only a couple of kids who went D1 within the last 20, 30 years, so it was obviously a big deal for me and my family. And just, personally just, I guess, showing that all the work's paid off. All those late nights in the gym with my dad have paid off, and I mean, it felt amazing.
And then, obviously, after that season, you decide to enter the transfer portal. And as I recall, you weren't in it very long. What can you kind of tell us about getting in touch with Coach Few and the coaching staff and B. Mike, and maybe how that all came about and why that was such an easy decision for you?
Yeah, it was an interesting process. Like, I think I entered the portal on a Friday, and by the next Friday I was committed.
Yep.
And Coach Gentry was my very first call, and once I entered the portal, so like right then and there, it kind of showed me like they were really interested in me being the first call. And then I kind of just created relationships with those guys. Coach Few called me, and they've always had success with transfers and then bigger wings who can shoot and are able to space the floor. So I thought that was really valuable to me. And then obviously just the winning culture that GU has. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a part of that? And the Spokane community and all the Zags fans and playing in the kennel. So it was a pretty easy decision to me. I had a couple visits lined up, but once I came here and took my visit, I canceled them and committed on the spot.
And then I guess take me to 2 years ago. You come in, it's kind of a brand new team at that point. It was Graham's first year here. It was Ryan's first year here. You guys were all kind of coming together at one time. What were those, summer workouts like when you guys were trying to build together for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's difficult, all those new faces, but at the same time, like, this is the game we're in now, like the roster changes every year. And I mean, that's something that Coach Few's been great at, is putting all those pieces together. And so we had full trust in him, and we had big expectations. And we had a great year that year. Obviously, I ended up getting hurt, but we all had big expectations that summer and thought that we could create something special.
And then, obviously, I guess let's get into it. You, played in that first exhibition game against LC State. You started in that game, and then I think it was 2 days later is when you tore your ACL. I guess just, you had all those expectations coming in, and, you wanted to show you could, really play at this level, and to have it taken away like that in an instant. I guess just, when it happened in that practice, what kind of goes through your mind at that point?
Man, there's a lot that goes through your head at that point. I was devastated at first. Those first 2 weeks were pretty hard because I had never experienced like a big injury like that. Once I started playing at Eastern, I never missed a game for an injury. So yeah, that was obviously tough. But after those first 2 weeks, I had such a great support system around me. My teammates, coaches, family, obviously, and they were like, if this is what you want to do, this, like, plenty of people have come back from those injuries. So after that, I was just kind of got the surgery. I actually waited a while because I wanted to go to Hawaii with the team. And they said, like, the stronger you go into surgery, the better the recovery will be, get the swelling down a little bit. So I did that, and I was glad I got to go to Hawaii and experience that with the team. And then, I had the surgery, and then it was kind of just, like, trying to do everything I can to get back as healthy as possible.
And obviously you go through, all that rehab, grinding, the soreness and everything, but you get through it. We talked at Hoop Fest that year. You were right on the verge of getting cleared. Yep. And then, right before the season, again, you tear your Achilles. I wonder, for a kid that age, you had just put in all that work to come back, and then to once again know that you had it all in front of you for another year. I guess just how were you able to deal with that at first? I know you said the first week was pretty dark for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that first week is tough. Like you said, I was I think 9 months post off of my ACL, and it was actually like the first workout I was supposed to go like semi-live with the manager, creating contact and stuff like that, and just kind of came off a dummy ball screen and felt my Achilles pop, and so that was definitely, it was heartbreaking for sure, just coming off that, and obviously just having big expectations for that next season as well. But I mean, I can only thank like my family and my support system for getting me through that. Definitely had some times where I thought about maybe I'd hang it up or not play, but ultimately I love this game so much, and it's been a huge part of my life and taken me to so many great places. I didn't want to give it up yet. And I mean, same thing. Like week or two, I kind of was in a dark place. And then obviously I just got done with rehab. So I was like, I kind of knew what I needed to do to get back and be better than that first rehab. So kind of just took it as it came and started the grind again.
Even though, you know what you have to do and you know the rehab process and you're like, all right, I know what it's going to take day in and day out. I mean, to have to, go through that all again when you were, starting to ramp up to hopefully playing, the mental fortitude that you need to have to go through it for a second straight year. I wonder when you think maybe that got built in you, and obviously you've mentioned the support system you had and, having everybody behind you, but for yourself to, get up every morning and go to rehab and work on it, when do you think that kind of grew in you?
I think that starts as like a kid. I mean, I've always had to work for everything I've gotten. Nothing was ever given to me. Obviously, I'd under-recruited in high school, walk-on at Eastern. So I think just trusting my work and trusting myself that, whatever you put your mind to, you can accomplish. And so I think that was instilled in me from a young age. And yeah, just having that mentality of never quitting.
And then, heading into this year now, a happier subject here. I guess just talk to me a little bit then about just trusting your body when you got back and started getting the clearances. I know there's a few hurdles you have to get over, but when you started, getting cleared for more and more activity, how was it, being able to, not worry about potentially getting injured again and just go out there and play freely?
Yeah, I think with the second recovery with my Achilles, we kind of took it a little slower than my first one. Just wanted to make sure that I was ready for everything that was going to be thrown at me. I don't think I started doing contact till like 11 months, I think, which is a little later than people say to do. But I was just trying to be as confident as I could going into it. And then once the summer hit and I hit a year of post-op, I was feeling really good. The support staff and training staff at GU really made sure that I was ready for everything, and yeah, I mean, it just felt amazing to be back out on the court and practice, playing open gyms, just building that confidence in my game again.
And then, obviously this offseason, you saw what happened. Coach Few went out and got 5-6 guys that play the same position as you. Obviously, over the last couple of years dealing with injuries, obviously he wanted to get that depth in, but obviously potentially that means less playing time for you. I guess after, going through what you went through for those 2 years and then coming back and knowing that you may be in, more of a role rather than starting and things like that, what's kind of the buy-in you have to be okay with that and to be cool with, where your spot is on the team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone wants to start and play 35 minutes a game, but a lot of times you're not coming to GU to get more playing time, right? You want to come here and win, and I'm just happy to be back on the court again, honestly, and whatever I can do to help my team win, whether it's stand in the corner because they're going to have to, they can't sag off me, and that gives more space for the bigs. But yeah, just trying to be solid on defense. I think that's my role right now, just being solid on defense, and then being able to space the floor for those bigs and the other wings. But like in the off season, I had no problem with it. Obviously he's going to recruit the guys that he thinks is going to be best for the team, and we all trust Coach Few. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. And like all of our players do so many different things. We're not all the same players, so I think that really plays into our strength.
And you just mentioned a key word for this year's team so far, and that's defense. I'm curious at what point during the offseason when you started getting, Ace and Mario and some of these guys in to go along with yourself and E-Man and then eventually adding Ty on, when was it kind of brought to you guys by Coach Few, by the coaching staff that, hey, we really want to hang our hat on the defensive end this year? And, how quick do you think you guys were able to buy in and say, oh, wow, like we really can do this year?
I mean, I think that started like last spring. The last 2 years we've had great teams, but they haven't been, up to par on defense like Coach Few wanted, and some of those Final Four teams had. And so I think we just kind of set it out in the spring that, we want to be top 10 defensively, and the offense will obviously follow. So we just made it a goal of ours to be, as good as we can on defense and play super physical and force teams over. And yeah, I think we've done a great job of that so far.
And now, being here for a few years, you've kind of seen a couple iterations of the early season coming out of the summer. Why do you think Gonzaga is so successful early on in seasons, and maybe how quickly you guys are able to assimilate new players? I mean, you look back to, last year you guys blew out Baylor. This year you beat Oklahoma, you blew out Creighton, you went and got a good road win at Arizona State. Why is it, some teams struggle when they bring in these new players and it takes them, a month or two to really get into gear, but it always seems like Gonzaga is pretty able to get started early right from the jump. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think that just speaks to our culture. I mean, coming into the summer, all these new guys, like the biggest thing that the staff has us do is like just connect with each other, like off the court, like not even on the court, just go get dinner with each other. We had a team retreat where our phones are taken for the weekend, and we just dive in on a personal level and create that chemistry, and I think that really translates to the court. And like you mentioned, with so many new guys, like I think a lot of these teams they struggle to mesh, but like that's one of the biggest things that happens when we come in is just being able to mesh off the court first, and then obviously the on-court stuff will come.
And then I guess just take me through the first 5 games of the season here so far. What have you liked? What are some of the things you guys want to tighten up here moving forward from what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, obviously our defense has been really good so far. ASU, we went through a little lump. They kind of mucked the game up against us, but we fixed a few things, and we just want to keep improving throughout every game. And obviously this next game against Alabama is going to be a huge test for us. We haven't seen a team with that many lethal shooters and the pace they play with, and we want to run with them too. So it's been great. Obviously the bigs have been really good. Tyon's been super good. I mean, 1 through 12 we've been really good defensively, and I think our offense is going to come. Shooting hasn't been up to par like we liked it. I haven't done a great job shooting the ball so far, but we're just getting used to where we're going to get shots on the floor. And that's all going to come.
And I guess when you look at a team like this that's so deep, I mean, Davis played, 14 minutes the other night and had 19 points, and right now he's kind of on the back end of the rotation. I guess, and when you see Coach Few already having made 3 changes to the starting lineup, knowing that you guys are so deep and have so many different pieces that could play pivotal roles, I guess that's got to make you guys pretty confident that you can beat anybody.
For sure, yeah. I think that's a great thing. We can throw different lineups at, depending on what the game or who the matchup is, we can switch everything or, I think that's super important. I think all great teams have good depth and are able to use it wisely, and I think Coach Few's done a great job putting guys in the best place for us to thrive. And, I think that's only going to continue.
And for yourself, you mentioned maybe the three-point shooting isn't where it should be for you, shooting about 25% right now. But it's a lot of catch-and-shoot stuff as you're still trying to, get assimilated with this new team. I guess, is that something that's just going to take time? Or, like, where do you kind of see, everybody maybe eventually getting to the point where they've been offensively throughout their careers and you guys can really get clicking?
Yeah, I think it's going to improve every game. I'm still kind of figuring out, where I'm going to get my shots, and obviously I haven't played in 2 years, so that's still coming to that level. But I mean, it's going to improve every game, and Tyon got here he was cleared a month ago, so that's still a big new piece. But I think everyone's just still kind of learning their role, but the defense is always going to be there for sure, and we're just going to keep improving every game.
I wanted to touch on Tyon a little bit because, I was there in the courtroom and saw you sitting there as a show of support for him, a guy you'd maybe known for a month or maybe even less than that. Why was it important for you to be there for him when he was going through, such a tough time, and to show your support in that sense that day?
I think ultimately it was just, we wanted him to be here, and whatever we could do to support him, we were going to do that. And, every since he's came in with a great attitude and just wanted to like fully submerge himself into the team. And just he wants to be the best there is. So, like, I don't know. It was just hard not to support a guy like that and what he's been through with, the 2 years he missed with his heart stuff. And, we just wanted to support him and be there for him.
What's it kind of been like for you and talking with Tyon and Ace and guys who've, all had season-ending injuries at some point and have been through kind of those dark times? Is that an easier way to bond for you guys when you come together like this?
100%. And I think that, I think it's been a great thing for us, like, to bond over, like you said. But it also just shows, like, our perseverance as a team, and that bond obviously grows further with that. But, I think just knowing that those guys are by your side and they're willing to fight for you through everything, I think is huge.
And then let's talk about this upcoming tournament. It's kind of a new one, the Players Era Invitational. I guess just as someone who's been around the college game now for years, seeing something like this in this new landscape where, if you guys do well and you guys win, you have the opportunity to not only add some NIL benefits for yourselves, but also for your program in future years when you guys leave. I guess when you get to play in something like that, kind of how cool is that? And maybe in this new landscape, what do you think of a tournament like this?
Yeah, it's super exciting. Obviously, when I came to college, NIL wasn't even a thing.
Right.
So seeing it go to that, I guess it's super exciting. And we're super thrilled to go down there and compete. And, we're just focused game by game, but obviously the money would be nice too. But yeah, we're super excited.
I guess when you head into a tournament like this and you have the 3 games in 3 days and you have to try and, scout 3 different teams and you guys don't get a lot of rest in between games, what is the key to a tournament like this, and how do you guys, just keep it rolling throughout the week?
Yeah, I think just being locked in mentally, the coaches are going to give us great game plans throughout those 3 days, and we're probably going to go through all 3 scouts, or I guess 2 scouts, and then kind of whoever we play in that 3rd game this week. But I think just being locked in and knowing that there's going to be a lot of different coverages, a lot of different guys that we play. I think one of the biggest things will be just being locked in on personnel game by game, and then obviously our depth is going to really help us with these 3 games, being able to throw out different lineups and
And you mentioned, seeing Alabama a little bit and how they like to run. Obviously, they beat Illinois. Did you get a chance to watch that game, and maybe what jumped out at you from that?
Yeah, just we all watched it last night. Just the pace they play with is unlike anybody we've seen in the past couple of years, I think, and just the freedom that they get. Those guards are running and gunning as fast as they can, and the first 3 they can get up, they're getting up. So I think it's going to be a big test for us, just to see if we can play at that pace defensively and offensively. But on offense, being able to slow down and get a great shot against them. And, I think one of the biggest things is just not taking bad shots against them where they can get out and transition, and that's where they're the most lethal.
And then looking at a team like Maryland as well, they've got a couple former Cougs who you may or may not be familiar with, but also a kid that just dropped 41 the other night. I guess, as you guys are going through like defensive scheming for a team that's, suddenly become kind of an offensive powerhouse, what are some of the things you hope to exploit there too?
I mean, I think that our defense is so good we don't have to, really focus on one person too much. Like, if everyone does their job, we're gonna get the job done. And I think as long as we come out and play physical and are locked in on the game plan, we can take care of anybody.
And for you, obviously, you have NBA aspirations and things like that. But what are some of your goals here this season that you want to accomplish for yourself, for your team? And, obviously you're hoping it ends up in Indianapolis at the end.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the season, I want to, I try to strive myself on being 50, 40, 90, 50% from the field, 40 from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. And then just being solid on defense, being able to rebound the ball, and then just being physical, just trying to be as physical as I can, and everything will take care of itself.
And then just take me through a little bit the last 2 years where, you were rehabbing and doing all of that, but you were constantly around the team. You were at every game, you're sitting on the bench, cheering on the guys. Why was it so important for you to be at all of those games and be around the team as much as you were throughout, 2 tough years?
Yeah, obviously it's tough sitting on that sideline, wanting to check in the game, but at the same time, I've learned a lot throughout those 2 years, and just being able to learn from the coaches, from other players. Obviously, we've had a lot of good players in those 2 years, and so just kind of learning from them and kind of where I'm going to get my shots and how the offensive defense works, what Coach Few likes to see out of his players. So I think that was a big thing for me, just learning overall.
And I know you were focused on the rehab and learning the schemes and stuff, but how did you also maybe pass the time when you weren't able to work out? Were there any new hobbies you picked up, and just kind of, to take your mind off of the grind and things like that? What were you able to do?
Yeah, early on in surgery, it was a lot of Call of Duty, a lot of Xbox with my buddies, and then once I was kind of able to, move around a little bit and bear my own weight, I've been playing a lot of golf.
Okay.
Golf's been really good out here in Spokane, and playing with Coach Few's son, AJ and Joe, and Anton when he comes back. I played a lot with him, and so yeah, just trying to get outdoors and take advantage of that.
How's the golf game?
Yeah, it's okay. Not great, not bad, but yeah, we're getting better.
Better basketball player than you are a golfer.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then I guess, Steele, my last one for you is you look, as the season is all ahead of you guys right now. Obviously, you guys have huge aspirations. What's it going to take, you think, having, watched 5 years of basketball now, played? What do you think it's going to take for you guys to, achieve your goals and get to where you want to be a little further than you have the last couple years here?
Yeah, just staying connected down the stretch, not letting any outside noise affect us, and then, just continuing to improve every day in practice. Our practices are super competitive, a lot harder than the games a lot of the times, just because we have so much depth, like you say. But yeah, I would just say, continuing to be locked in on the game plans and staying together.
There you have it. Steele Venters going to be in action Monday night. Zags and Alabama down in Vegas. Steele, appreciate the time, man.
Yeah, thank you.